A Disciple's Road, The Tale of One Man's Journey by Druid Dave. Preface. After enduring a near-death experience, Druid Dave was compelled to write this profound parable. There are many roads among the rocks and trees. There are many gates along each road. Druid Dave dedicates this parable to humanity. Introduction. My road has come to a rocky end. I hastily start up both my excavating and building machines. They have trouble starting, and once they're running, they run roughly. I begin digging the rocky ground with force and haphazard effort. The excavating edge is dull and only makes small marks in the rocky ground. Then, after several minutes of minuscule results, the belt breaks. How can I utilize my building tools if my excavating tools don't even work properly? I ask myself. I drop to my knees with my head hanging low and wipe the sweat and tears from my face. I sit defeated in silence. I begin looking around for any unseen help that may arise. I feel my heart beginning to ache as dark clouds begin dominating the sky. The air around me is becoming ice cold with a thick, dark fog. I can't see beyond the dark fog and am not wearing a jacket. The dark fog and cold air encapsulate my entire being and leave me blind and frozen. I imagine this is what being buried alive and trapped in a coffin feels like, I say to myself. While resting my eyes for a moment, a voice begins creeping into my mind. I told you to purchase new machinery, the voice says. I suggested that you replace your current machines, the voice reminds me. I immediately jump up in anger and begin kicking my machines. Why don't you ever work? I scream. You're supposed to fulfill your purpose, I cry. I grab my machines and begin throwing them back into my trailer. Then, from all of the commotion, something falls from above, hits me atop my head, and knocks me down. I am bewildered, and to my amazement, the object is my trusty old air blower. I had forgotten that I brought the air blower with me because of my previous discontent. I quickly run out of the trailer with the machine, start the air blower, and begin clearing the fog from the road. I decide to start walking along the road with my machine. As I clear the dark fog, I notice a new road appearing and decide to begin walking down this new road. Why not? I say to myself. You never know what may come of this choice, and besides, I need to find a way out of here, I remind myself. This new road meanders near a large grove of ponderosa pine trees. As I get closer to the grove of trees, I notice that this new road also ends abruptly, but it ends on soft ground with little to no rocks and cobbles. I turn off my air blower and start looking deep into the pine forest. I notice a small shed halfway up the slope of ponderosa pines. I set down my air blower and begin trekking up the hill toward this peculiar shed. I eat many pine nuts along the way to sustain my energy. Once I arrive at the shed, I can see that the door has a large, rugged lock and chain, which happens to be unlocked. I easily remove the lock and chain from the door and let them drop to the ground. As I begin opening the door, I can see brand new equipment and machinery appearing right before my eyes. This is some kind of miracle and revelation, I say in amazement. I grab what appears to be a state-of-the-art excavating machine and a high-tech building machine. I then carefully make my way back down the hill, out of the pine forest, and onto the end of the new road. As I look upon the new road, I notice a stream of fluid running down the road from where I came. I reach down and wipe my finger across the fluid, and then lift my finger to take a sniff. Oh, it's gasoline, I say to myself. That's odd. I must have overfilled my air blower's gas reservoir, I think to myself. I finish reading the user's manual with great intent, start up both machines with glee, and get right to work. The work goes well, and the new road is easily built now that I have novel and refined tools at my disposal. I will work day and night for the next several days building my new road. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and months turn into years as I endlessly build my new road. I can now move along my new road in any direction. I can go forward and backward along my new road unimpeded. I routinely take breaks to rest and recuperate, which is necessary when building a new road of this magnitude. I will often turn off my machines so that I can repair, resharpen, and refine all of the moving parts, blades, and additives. This ensures that the new road is built properly and efficiently. Sometimes cracks in the new road will arise from disruptions underground. However, they are easily repaired with my novel and refined tools. Sometimes the dark fog will reappear, and I will have to clear the fog with my air blower in order to keep working on my new road. My air blower still leaks gasoline each time that I have to use it. However, it has never once died on me throughout all the years of continued operation. One stormy day, as I am tirelessly working on my new road, I see another road in the distance. This road appears to be coming directly toward me and happens to end at an open gate. I quickly grab my air blower and begin clearing away the dark fog from the area. The air blower begins to leak more gasoline as I determine the orientation of the road beyond the open gate. No matter how many turns I create on my new road, the road in the distance is always oriented toward me. I am getting closer and closer to this road as I work endlessly on my new road. As I approach this road, I can sense something beyond the open gate. I vigorously work right up to the open gate. After decades of hard work, I finally finish my road by making a connection with this new road beyond the open gate. I drop to my knees with my head held high and wipe the sweat and tears from my face. I sit in triumphant silence. I stand up and walk faithfully through the open gate. Once I cross beyond the open gate, a new world appears right before my eyes. I stand still with amazement and wonderment. I have no words to describe this world or its nature. I then get a sense to look back from where I came. As I glance back, a strike of lightning comes crashing down upon the ponderosa pine forest. A fire erupts with fury and quickly ignites the ponderosa pines and gas-laden road that I had just completed. Everything I had worked through, overcame and built, was all destroyed by this furious fire. There is no heat emanating from this furious fire. There are no burns, and there are no scars. I then turn back toward my new world. I wonder what types of tools, roads, and gates I will find in my new world. I smile with absolute joy while imagining what lies beyond. Symbolism Key. Excavating tools, inner world. Building tools, outer world. Dull tools, machines, pride, greed, envy, and apathy. Dark clouds, old habits, and self-sabotage. The jacket, coping behaviors and addictions. The coffin, comfort zone, fear, and spiritual death. The voice, self-critic, judge, and superego. The trailer, quitting, giving up, forfeiture, and retraction. Rocky ground, self-limiting beliefs, trauma, shame, and guilt. Refined tools, machines, faith, forgiveness, effort, and courage. User's manual, intentions and capabilities. Reading the user's manual, honesty and humility. Repair, resharpen, and refine tools. Meditation, prayer, contemplation, and relationships. Airblower, grace and clarity. Grace is peace, bliss, joy, and love. Dark fog, ignorance and self-neglect. Original road, negative old karma, desires and life outcomes. New road, positive new karma, desires and life outcomes. Cracks in new road, relapses in behaviors and thoughts. Underground, dark nature of humankind, such as hate and evil. Leaking gasoline, individual spirit and alignment with purpose, our dharma. Ponderosa pine forest, growth of pain bodies, aspects of the false self, and identity. Pine nuts, Positive aspects of the identity and survival. The hill, inward struggle and introspection. Peculiar shed, the true self and consciousness which was always accessible. Lock and chain, self-deception, delusion, and ego. Open gate, transformation, baptism, and shadow integration, which were always accessible. Lightning bolt, the spirit and will of God. Furious fire, conversion by the spirit. New road beyond the open gate, true nature of reality. New world, freedom, expansion, and enlightenment. God, wholeness, creator and creation, innocence, pure love, and the desire. Thank you for reading A Disciple's Road. Druid Dave hopes that this parable may guide you along your new road. The end.